Welcome back, guys. This is your host, Ron Ducats, and today we have, of course, something wonderful to discuss, which is the wall text that we saw in the trailer, or the engine demo of Halo Infinite of, quote, Halo 6. Alright, so this is basically Halo 6. We know it's taking place after Halo 5. In fact, we might actually know exactly when the game, the story, the campaign, or sometime around when it actually begins. Right? So there's actually really cool information that we're going to be going over today. And I'm going to start with the text on the wall, right? This is the most obvious, but the most mysterious. Everyone's been wondering, right? You know, after the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, wow, this was all so great. And then I wanted to go back, and that was the very first thing I wanted to go back because it's just such an easy message. It's obviously an Easter egg, like, all right, guys, here it is. Go decipher it. All right. And so it took the Halo community a couple days. And I don't actually know who exactly to credit for this, but it has been floating around on Twitter and elsewhere that what this actually says, I think, is in a foreigner language. I could be wrong, but it says enemy within. That's what a lot of people are thinking right now. It says enemy within, right? So what does that mean? All right, what is that pointing to? Well, a lot of people are saying that it is pointing to the Flood returning in Halo Infinite, right? And I think that's a really solid, really easy to go to guess, right? Because, of course, the Flood is starting to return to the Halo universe, you know, with its big return in Halo Wars 2, Awakening the Nightmare. We saw that the Flood escaped High Charity on the Ark. And how does it make its way to Installation 07, which is where Master Chief and others are located here, Zeta Halo, right? As seen in the Morse code and the walkie-talkie scene, Save Our Soul, right? So this is very interesting information. Enemy within, right? Is the Flood going to be on Installation 07? Are they going to be a big enemy? And I think so, yeah, because again, they're making a big return in Halo Wars 2. It's obvious that 343 Industries is trying to make a return to them. And also, considering, you know, we don't know what's going on with Cortana yet, as far as, you know, considering it's been at least a year and a half now, which I'll get into in just a moment. But with the Flood, you know, that's really the only enemy that's going to throw Cortana off balance, besides the Master Chief himself. I think that, you know, in order for Cortana to be balanced, there's going to be an equally powerful foe, which will be the Flood returning, right? And the Flood actually is present on this ring. There's up to 10 proto-grave mines in storage, as well as with many other infected foreigners that have been processed by the composer actually still on this ring as far as we know. So it is already confirmed in Halo lore that the presence of the Flood is on this ring. They may be in storage, but nonetheless, there is a proto-grave mine, many proto-grave mines, and many Flood specimen that are on this ring. Again, in storage, but maybe they might break out. And, you know, come on, they're probably going to break out. Now, there is a very big possibility that one single Flood spore could easily just escape, right? And somehow begin to infect the entire ring like it did before. And that would propose a very big problem for Master Chief, right? And for others. And if one of these proto-grave mines were to be awoken, then bam, there we have a grave mine here on Installation 07. Classic Halo is returning, it seems, right? So what do you guys think? Enemy within, you know, that and who wrote this, right? That's a really big question too. Who actually wrote enemy within on the wall, right? Well, it's pretty subtle at first, but as you look throughout the trailer, there's actually signs and hints pointing to the history of Zeta Halo, which is that there used to be ancient humans that had cities, ancient cities, you know, huts and stuff, on this ring, right? And so it seems very likely that the person or whoever wrote this was a human, right? And why did they write this? Who knows? They could have also been talking about an enemy within the ring, maybe the foreigners, right, besides the Flood, or maybe something completely different that we just haven't heard about or seen yet that 343 Industries plans to introduce to Halo lore in this game, right? So I want to hear y'all's thoughts about all of this down in the comment section below. I'm very curious as to what you think about what enemy within might mean here on the wall. So even though I already talked about it in my Halo Infinite hidden messages in plain sight in the trailer video, I do want to discuss it one more time very quickly, is that yes, there were humans on this ring at one point, but eventually they ran out into the wilderness to escape the foreigners who had started capturing them and doing experiments on them, right, to find the cure to the Flood. So maybe when they say, or whoever wrote the enemy within was pointing to the history of them being captured by the foreigners. Just a thought. And I wonder, like, just in Halo 4, there was the whole subplot with composers and ancient humanity. I wonder if they're going to go in the same direction with ancient humanity being composed and being, manipulated with and experimented on this ring. I wonder if that will be a major subplot, right? And I wonder if we're going to see any ancient foreigners on this ring as well, because obviously it would be very nice to kind of know exactly what the Librarian did to Master Chief in Halo 4 as far as the powers go, and to see maybe another foreigner address that, or to see that addressed in any way on this ring would be absolutely awesome. So anyways, what structures will we see in the gameplay? Will it resemble the humans that used to live here? Will we go across a hut village maybe? All that, I think, it just makes me so excited to speculate on. Now earlier I was talking about I know when this game might actually begin, and why I don't know exactly when this game is going to take place, is because it's all up in the air. I think it's very likely with the information I'm about to go over, and that is a message on the Pelican, very subtle. I mean, it's also like, duh, why do we not look there more? Somebody actually found something very interesting, and that is a date, right? May 27th, 2060, all right? That's about a year and a half after Halo 5 Guardians, all right? October 2558, that is when Halo 5 ended, and then about 6 or 7 months later, Halo Wars 2, that's when it started. So we have about a year after Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare ended, and that's about a year for the Flood to contaminate the Ark, to contaminate many other places of the galaxy, and for a lot of drama to happen. And as I've been saying, that Halo 5 and Halo 6 will at least have 8 months apart from each other, right? And so now we have an idea when this story will take place, and it's about a year and a half after Halo 5 Guardians, and that implies a lot. Guys, seriously, open your mind up to this. So many things could have happened during this year and a half, right? Because Halo 5 ended in October 2558, and now we're talking about May 27th of 2060, a year and a half later. So many things could have happened, right? Cortana could have conquered the galaxy how she had dreamed. She could have changed and polluted and disrupted natural order of things that naturally happen, right? Culture. She could have diluted populations and maybe, disrupted and killed millions at this point that maybe have resisted. Entire civilizations maybe had fought back and had been obliterated back to the Stone Age. So many open-ended questions. Same thing with the Flood. How many innocent lives, how many planets have been devoured and destroyed by the Flood? Has Cortana been able to keep the Flood isolated and contained, or have they escaped the Ark, right? Has a grave mind rose to power yet? Because that can happen very quickly, right? With the right amount of biomass, it can happen. So what do you guys think has happened so far? So I think that this information placed on the Pelican was placed here for a pretty damn good reason, right? And just because the date is there, it doesn't mean that's when they crashed and the story begins. They could have been stranded on this ring for much longer than that, and we really don't know, right? Because the last time we saw Master Chief, he was with Agent Locke, Arbiter, and Dr. Halsey and Commander Palmer, right? And so I wonder, how did they go from being on Synkelios with this ragtag group of rebels that have this entire Synkelios planet shut down by an EMP, it looks like, all the way to Installation 07 crashed with Marines, right? And it definitely shows that there is resistance with the UNSC. It shows that the UNSC is working against the Created, obviously, that they're trying their best to stop the threat of Cortana, I would think, right? These are just assumptions. We don't really know what the Cortana situation is like right now. But nonetheless, it opens a possibility up for a lot of things to have happened during this time. And what do you guys think? What do you think has happened during this time? What do you think has changed a year and a half later after Halo 5? So anyways, guys, what do you think about the enemy within text on the wall? What do you think about the date? What do you think has happened so far? What do you think it all means? and what do you think it's pointing to as far as the story, campaign, and plot, and anything else is pointing to? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. I will undoubtedly be checking them for comments to talk about during a podcast. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already for all your Halo needs, news, and entertainment, and like this video up if you ended up enjoying, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.